Thank you, Francis, for doing this. I'm super excited.
Yeah, no problem. I'm excited as well. Colleen in the house.
Hey, Francis. Hi, Kathy.
What's going on? Hey, did you see the RV I almost bought yesterday? Kidding.
I didn't.
That's funny.
Oh, I did actually. Saw the picture, yes.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. We could just, it'd be like, it probably would be like Scooby with like the Flintstones though, but I don't think it had a motor.
You could just stay in one of your condos.
Yeah, right. All right, should we get started, Perry?
Yeah, 1 o'clock. Your show. So I like honoring the people that came on time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I really do appreciate you guys coming out today. If you guys don't know who I am, Francis Zipeto with MAPS Business Coaching. I'm a head coach over here in our organization. And I can promise you this. I know that 45 minutes of your day is normally is the middle of your workday. I know today we're kind of all hanging out quarantined in our house, but this is still 45 minutes. So I promise not to. I promise to honor your time today and make sure you get the maximum value. My word you're going to hear a lot today is value. Like I've just redone a lot of my goals for 2020 and 2021 to just talk about value. Value is going to be the number one thing to propel us in business here moving forward. So I just kind of wanted to just touch the room a little bit here with being on mute is totally cool if you're driving or whatever, but I would love this to be interactive. 45 minutes of me talking at you. What we know is that's not going to get us a lot of results, right? We want to have a interactive learning environment. Sitting there passive and just taking notes is fantastic, but participating is what's really going to help us grow and get the most out of this class. So we'll be all committed to making this thing interactive, fun, and making this the best next 43 minutes of your day. I know you're out there. I can hear your heart beatings. Good. All right, guys. So who came here today to overcome some challenges? Overcome some challenges, some fears, like hoping they're going to get some things to rip their business wide open today. With that being said, who also has some fear and challenges about reopening what they have going on in their business, in their life over the next 60 to 90 days as we start the country reopening, depending on what state you're in? Who's got a little bit of fear around that, of what's gonna come around the corner? Anybody? All right, so if you do, like, feel free to speak up. Like, share with me, like, what's a couple of things that you guys are fearful for moving forward?
Hi, Francis, it's Sue. Not so much fear as it is an awareness of differences. So how we communicate, how we interact in person as we are allowed to be together in smaller groups again, and making other people aware of what those rules would then be. So just
Cool.
the awareness, I think.
Okay. What tools do you think we're going to need to do that?
Again, I think we need to have a good idea of where things are actually at, where we're actually, how things are actually working. Colorado has been on complete lockdown for the real estate community as an example. And as of Monday, they're lifting restrictions which allow realtors to show property again. And that's the first time that's happened in about a 30-day time period. So again, the awareness around how does that look? How is it different? How can we continue to be safe and yet do essential pieces of the job in order to get that accomplished for clients?
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So when you think about what you just said there, what are some things that we could tell ourselves of what of challenges we'll have around that? Like we won't have enough what? Like just randomly just spit it out. Like we won't have enough what? Won't have enough business. What else?
Revenue.
What else? Anybody else?
Time.
Time, right? That's a good one. So time, like, what else?
Patience.
Patience. Right. So when you think about that, that's a story that we're telling ourselves, isn't it? It's a story that we're telling ourselves that we're not going to have enough time. We're not going to have enough business. We're not going to have the patience to get through this deal. When what do we really need?
Focus.
Yeah. So
Plan.
that's the name of the class, right? Resourcefulness. Those are all things about being resourceful. All those other things are just a story we tell ourselves. And the reason that we don't have what we really, really want is because of the story we tell ourselves of why we don't have it yet. Why we don't have it yet. So what we're going to do today is we're going to divorce that story and marry the truth. So what's the truth?
Truth is, there's a lot of unknowns right now.
Yes.
Some of it we can control, a lot of it we can't. But just speaking from my industry, I'm in the wedding industry, so obviously I've got a lot of couples freaking out right now. We can be there for them. We can offer them our expertise. And I think this goes for a lot of businesses. We can let them know. I've been reassuring folks that, we've taken steps financially to protect our assets. We have liquidity, so people don't feel like we're going to disappear.
Right.
Anything you can do to kind of ease the tension and ease the stress from your clients, and just try to be ahead of the curve as much as possible, and kind of go from there.
Yeah. So write down some of these characteristics. Tell me if these characteristics ring home to your business. Creative, passion, determination. You guys have those things in your business?
Yes.
You do those resources, and you can rip this thing wide open. In the real world, do we really need anything besides being creative, determined, passionate? If we had those things, don't we just figure out can we just figure out any answer?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this particular class was because a lot of the clients that we're seeing, that we're coaching through, and businesses that we're helping, they're going back to the stuff that will not work now. Well, I used to do this, but it won't work. And I used to do this, but it won't work. And it's a story they keep replaying in themselves, like that CD or that record, right? Like they're just replaying it over and over. They're just hitting it repeat. What we want to do today is we want to scratch that right out. We want to scratch that CD so it will never play again. Those stories that we keep telling ourselves. If Jeff's just talking about his wedding business, if he gets creative and he's passionate about helping his brides and his grooms get through this situation, is he ever going to have to worry about business again?
No.
No, he'll be the quarantine king. Right? There'll be people moving to Massachusetts so they can have him to be their DJ for their wedding.
Right here in the hot spot. Come on up.
So like, that's what we want to drive home today, right? Is to use what you guys came here for. I'm here to tell you that you came here with. If you guys never attend another class, read another book, you all have inside of you what you need to make this thing work. So resourcefulness is the ultimate resource. Like the most successful people on the planet. You guys remember a company called Lehman Brothers? You guys remember that company?
Yep.
They were around for, 100 years. 100 years. If you added up all their gross revenue for those decades, it equals $1 trillion with a T, trillion. And they're no longer here. That's how competitive things are right now. That's the world that we live in. Now, you guys are all, I assume you guys are all business owners, right? To be a business owner right now, you have to be a warrior. You have to be a gladiator. Because 96% of all businesses fail within the first 10 years. 4% make it. 4% make it after year 10. And I know that after 10 years, we don't have any more challenges, right? Like we got it all figured out.
No.
And and that 4% that are still here doesn't mean they're making money. It just means they're still here. Doesn't mean they're profitable. So we're living in a world right now where if we're not looking at our own values and what we came here with to show resourcefulness in our business, we're not going to make it. So I think that all business people right now, like you guys are all my brothers and sisters, all business people, warriors. I mean, who shows up to play a game that the longer you play in it, the further you've chances to fail? Like you have to have an amazing psychology to be able to wake up every day knowing that that's what you're facing, and you still show up to win. The fact that you're on this call today means we're kindred souls, because you came here to give yourself something that you didn't have yesterday. But I'm telling you that you did have it yesterday. Being in business is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. Write that down. That's something you really need to focus on, especially moving through this time. 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. So somebody share with me what that means to them real quick. What does that mean to you?
I mean, you got to have the right attitude for sure to get through something like this. I think you have to be realistic. I think some folks sometimes, get this false sense that, well, this is going to be over in a month. And up here in Massachusetts, we have businesses near North Shore of Boston that just went through a major utility explosion not even 18 months ago. And they were interviewing some of the restaurant owners who lost everything 18 months ago, and now they're trying to deal with this all over again. But they were able to keep all their employees on staff. They were able to do a lot of things because they learned life lessons, back a couple of summers ago when, literally half of Boston was blowing up one random afternoon. It was a gas oil leak, and businesses just had fires, just coming from everywhere. And so to go through that, literally these are what the owners were saying, living through that and understanding what you have to do to get by that has actually helped them tremendously through this experience.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And so as business owners and the leaders of business, what's the biggest chokehold in our business right now? What's the bottleneck? Where does it stop?
I think it's fear is the chokehold.
Yeah. And so who usually holds the fear?
All of us in the media.
So us as a unit together is the chokehold on our business. Has anybody been in a relationship way too long? Ever happened to you? Like you've been in a business or personal relationship like way longer than you should have been? Yeah, a lot of hands going up there. So is it the other person's fault or yours?
Mine.
Yeah, it's our choice, right? We chose to either let those people in and not exit them out. So at this particular point in our business, what are we looking at? Like, are we looking at all of our relationships? Which ones we're going to keep and which ones we're going to move forward? Which ones we're not? Which ones align with what we had talked about before? The creativeness, the determination, the love, the passion. Is anybody in a business, like, you don't have to name any names, but anybody in a business right now where you feel that maybe the people that you're alongside with are not as passionate about it as you are? Anybody? Yeah, I'll take it from your silence that that's the truth. So we want to make sure that we take this time to use those resources and resourcefulness to weed through our organization and think about who's gonna come with us on the other side of this 6 months from now and who's not. Make sense? So if we never get to cross paths again, I want to leave you with some things here today and have a breakthrough. Like, who here would like to have a breakthrough where we can really get on the other side of this together and make things happen? You guys down for that? Is that what you showed up for? All right, well, let's make it happen. So, let's start with what a breakthrough is. Like, what is a breakthrough?
It's when you find new ways to do things that you weren't doing prior, and it brings you to a new level in business.
Yeah, I like to phrase it as it's a breakthrough is like making the impossible possible. We keep hitting ceiling. We drive ourselves into the wall over and over again, like the fly that tries to get out of our house. That the window's open 2 inches below where it keeps smashing itself against the glass. Anybody ever watched that for longer than 5 minutes? That's what happens when no sports is on. I watch flies running into the side of the window. They got to bring back something. It makes the impossible seem possible, right? So if you're going to have a breakthrough, you have to have immediate and take immediate, massive what?
Action.
Action, which means that you don't have to believe everything that I'm saying on this call today, but if something rings home to you, 2 or 3 things that make sense in the next 24 hours, you got to take massive action. Massive action will create a breakthrough. So every breakthrough has 3 steps. So the first step is strategy. That's the first step to having a breakthrough. You have to have strategy. One of the things that I'm extremely passionate about is going to find the best strategy from the best. That's what I am. I'm a business strategist, right? A personal and business strategist. I go out and I find resources that people have put together that have been massively successful and give them to you. Like, are we doing that in our own business? Are we looking at people who have done what we do at the highest level and doing whatever it takes to figure out how they did it? Like strategy, marketing strategy, being able to hire the right people kind of strategy. I mean, like in mass business coaching, we have a process called leverage leadership. If you haven't been through that class, like I strongly recommend you sign up for that, because we talked about having the wrong person in the wrong person in your company at any time is cost you how much money? Forget the nights of sleep that you won't have, but just think about the money that you're not gonna make, or the poison that person can put into your organization, right? You have to having the right strategy can turn decades into days. You can learn in a few days what it could take you decades to figure it on your own. So like, I among everybody understand strategy is so important. But out of the 3 of them, it's the least effective. If you do all 3 of these things, you'll have a breakthrough. If you do 1 out of the 3, you may have a breakthrough. But strategy is absolutely number 3 of the 3. Why do you think I say strategy is number 3 of the 3?
Because what good is a strategy if you don't implement it?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say education without implementation is just entertainment. So as entertaining as this might be for everyone, like we want to take massive what?
Action.
Action. So we're going to start by going out and finding the best what for our business. Strategy. Number 1. And in the strategy category, like write down, don't do this alone. Find some people on your team. A lot of companies, whether you're a big or a small company, they have a board of directors. People that are not in the company. People that are outside of the company that are biased, that you can go to with once a quarter, have a meeting about your company and say, all right, so this is what's going on in my world, and get some outside influence for people that you respect in business. Or find a strategist that can help you walk you through this, or go find a mentor that is doing your business at a level that you would love to be on the other side of this. And I would recommend finding somebody who maybe was around in 2008, the last time that the world didn't seem like it was the world anymore. You guys down for that? Okay, cool. So why do I say strategy isn't the only thing? because 70% of our country is overweight. So if it was just strategy, then we wouldn't have that number. So the second one is story. The story we tell ourselves. So let's take the I want to lose weight deal. How hard is it, strategy-wise, for me to walk out of my house on a normal day and go find somebody who would be my personal trainer or have a gym that's open near me that I can go and get strong and be fit? How long would I have to go for that? I would
You
probably
find it
drive.
right away.
Yeah, right away, like right up the street, right? I probably would drive because I would, God forbid, I walk to go get fit and work out, right? But I actually could walk right where it's going to be. And I'm sure most of you around here are the same way, right? Like you can just go out and find a place that can get fit. So the strategy is all around us. It's the story of what we're doing that makes it not happen. So anybody who's ever tried to lose some weight or go to the gym and get themselves fit, what's some things you tell yourself on like, it's not working because I've tried what?
Everything.
I've tried everything. Have you really tried everything? Well, I've tried thousands of things. Name them. I've tried hundreds. Name them. I've tried 12. Name them. I've really tried 2 things that don't work, but I keep doing them. Right, so that's just a story we tell ourselves. I had a friend of mine who lost over 100 pounds. You know the story he used to tell himself was, I'm just big boned. Well, he still has big bones. He's just 100 pounds less of him than there was before. It's the story that we keep telling ourselves of why we don't have what we want. So I'm gonna pick on somebody real quick because I need a partner for this kind of thing. Nicole, would you help me out?
Sure thing.
Cool. So Nicole, we're gonna show why how important that this story thing is in our world. So Nicole goes out and she's at a restaurant and she's sitting across from a guy she finds model kind of attractive and wants to ask him for lunch. So she goes and she says, "Hey, like next Thursday, you want to have lunch with me?" And he says no. Why do you think he said no, Nicole?
Oh, let's see. He didn't think I was attractive, or I didn't make the right ask, or wasn't wearing the right clothes, or I wasn't confident enough.
So she just made up a whole story in her head just because I said the word no. I said no, I couldn't go on Thursday. And she just made up this whole story of how she's did this and she's not wearing good clothes and she has to go to the mall now. They need to reopen it immediately or she can't get a date. Like, this is a problem. This is a problem. So maybe maybe no just means like, I don't know, not Thursday. Because like, you know, that's possible, right? So what would be maybe a question you could ask that would say like, maybe Friday? How would Friday work? So we tell ourselves a story of like, just because somebody said no, that we make the story in our head so much worse than it really is. We do that in our personal world and we do it in our business. And it's preventing everybody from having what they really, really need. Is that helpful? All right, so we're gonna stop doing that, right, Nicole? We're just gonna, instead of Thursday, we're gonna go on Friday.
That's right. Stick to the facts, Francis.
Thanks, Nicole. Nicole's an awesome coach here at MAPS. I really appreciate her help. So yeah, that's the story. We're gonna divorce the story and marry the what?
Truth.
The truth. We're gonna divorce the story and marry the truth. Starting when?
Now.
Right. And we're not gonna have one of those divorces where you can like see each other and like have like you can still hang out and hold on to your beliefs. Like that's not gonna be. This is a clean cut divorce. No going back. Commitment on that? I hope so. All right. So last one. This is the most important one of all of them. Anticipation. Anticipation is what's going to make us go from here to where we want to go like that. Being able to understand the art of it, what's coming next. So what do you think you would learn? What might be coming next? Where do you think you can go for that information in your own business right now?
Other people who are further down the path than me.
So glad you came.
Me too.
So yes, exactly, right? You find somebody who maybe have played this game before and understands that when, you know, our entire economic and business and life revolves in cycles. Would you guys agree with that? Everything we do is in a cycle. Like it's, yes, progressively over time. If you look at charts, inflation has made things more expensive now than they ever were, but it doesn't just keep going up, does it? It's not like this. It's more of a curve, isn't it? So we just came out of a decade-long amazing market, right? No matter what business you're in, if you weren't making money in the last 10 years, then you missed something. So what's the average usually that we're in a great market? You guys know that? Like the economy usually is good for how many years?
7 to 10.
7 years.
7 years, right? Absolutely. So we started this journey in like 2011, where things started to climb out of the 2008 debacle, and then went to 12 and went to 13. So 7 years after 2011 was when?
2018.
Okay, so somewhere around 2018, if you were practicing the art of anticipation, what were you preparing for in life and business?
What's next?
Yeah. What's on
coming
the other
down
side of
road?
this thing? It wasn't about what can we do to and see how long this will last, right? Because that's what most people do. They have short memories and they don't remember that when things come up, they come down again. So when you're getting close to the top, what should you be asking yourself?
You should be preparing for the dip.
Yeah,
No.
what's on the other side? And where do I have to put my personal finances, my personal world, and my business right now so that when that happens, I'm prepared. Now, nobody could have prepared that it was going to be a pandemic that took us down. However, once we got past 7 years in one day, it didn't matter anymore, did it? Something was going to make it happen. If it wasn't this, it was going to be something else. So if we were practicing the art of anticipation, we would have been planning this 3 years ago. So one of the founders of our company at MAPS shared with us what weekly draws a bell curve. And he figures that he asks himself, where are we right now? And put a dot. Where do you think we are? So if you think you're near the top, what do you think you should be doing?
Preparing for a downslide.
Let me ask you guys this. Where do you think we are now?
I don't think we've hit the bottom yet.
Right. And does it really matter? If we are going to open this deal, and we're going to, there's no doubt about it. Like no matter what state you live in, by the end of the summer, you're going to be open. If you live in Georgia, you'll be open Friday. So if you're going to reopen this deal, how should you operate? Which side of the curve should you operate yourself on? Like you're going into what? Yeah, the bottom, Katie, right. You just live like you're in the bottom. Just live there for a while. There's a book called Shift. I don't know if you guys ever read Shift, but there's a book called Shift where it talks about, and you want to learn some strategy, like the strategy in this book will give you 80 to 90% of the results you're looking for. Between the one thing and the one thing in the book Shift, you read those two things before you go back to business, they're going to give you 80 to 90% of what you're looking for. And if you could go to Vegas and hit your number 80 to 90% of the time, how often would you play? Okay, so those are two strategies that I'm going to give you on our breakthrough sequence that you can use to get yourself feeling good about going back to work here. But what it's going to share with you is that we should always be living like we're in a market that's not great. We should be looking at our budgets every week. We should be looking at where we are on the bell curve. So if you're going to take one action step, massive action, right? Between now and the time that your state says you can go back to work or you can go reopen your business, what can we do between now and then? To be resourceful, right? Resourcefulness is the ultimate resource. So what are we going to do to be resourceful?
Reaching out to your clients and customers and letting them know the day that you'll be back in and how you're handling the new normal in your industry and what you're doing to make sure that they're safe and protected.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's a great one. What else? Like, so let's think about this, right? So at our fingertips, we have more technology than President Clinton had to run the country in the 90s. Right here. So being able to find the resources is a lie because it's all right here. So the 2 books I just gave you, could you guys have those downloaded by the end of the day? Start reading them, start looking at the models. Sue just got hers. So Amazon Prime's fast. Wow, that was quick. So quick. All right, so that's really one I wanted to take home. Do you guys feel like you can get a breakthrough right there? Did you guys get what you came for today? Katie, anything in the chat box you need to address?
Perry says he has a PDF version of Shift for free. So if anybody wants that,
Wait,
you want them
yeah.
to drop their email in there, Perry?
Well, after the session, because you registered, we'll have your email address. So then one of us can reach out with that if we want to send it out. I have the free PDFs.
Wow, awesome. Awesome job. Anything else?
Francis, I was going to say that I heard this once from somebody else. It's not something I came up with. And that is, you never know when you've hit bottom until you're going back up and you look in the rearview mirror and realize that you were at bottom. So
Yeah.
the bell curve analogy is such a powerful analogy from the standpoint, if we're looking at what's coming next, we don't have to worry about the bottom because we're always prepping for whatever that looks like. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can look at your profit and loss and you can look at the way you operate and just figure out, all right, if I had to operate at 30% capacity, what would it have to look like? Because there's a good chance that 70% of the country is not going to come out of their house until there's a vaccine at a high level. They're going to come out, go to work, do what they have to do, but to go back to restaurants and vacations and getting on airplanes, I mean, you're talking about probably 70%, there'll be 30% of the people that are going to go, I don't care. They probably already booked a cruise to the Bahamas and, because it's $200 for a balcony, right? Like there's people that are going to just run right out and do their thing. Jacksonville beaches were open. You saw what happened there. So there are going to be people that come out. Here's the deal. Every single person we come in contact with, whether you're working in the wet industry like Jeff, you're a coach, or in real estate or whatever it is, every client that we come in contact with has now just become worth way more money because there'll be less of them. At MAPS Business Coaching, when you talk about, we have a thing called Wheel of Focus, right? The Wheel of Focus has got 5 strategies on there that can basically take you and bridge the gap in any part of your business. So when you look at the models on that and you redo your numbers based on 30% sales or 30% of whatever it is that you do, like what does your expenses have to look like for you to still be open come 3rd and 4th quarter? So I'd love to get 2 or 3 ahas before we get out of here. I know at 3 o'clock we have a webinar with Jeff Woods, who is the host of the One Thing podcast. So Jeff Woods is an amazing dude. So if you guys are registered for that, you guys are in for a treat. This is just a warm up for you. But give me 2 or 3 ahas so we can wrap up and give Jeff some time to get prepared here to come on.
really liked the point about anticipation, because with anticipation is implied a certain amount of belief that something will happen. And so I thought that was a really good point.
Cool. What else?
I appreciated the reminder to look at my relationships and take this time period as a perfect opportunity to decide who I'm going forward with.
Yeah.
I think what you said about the idea of 30% being what you come back to, our business is very different, and it was all in person before, and I think we're going to have to maintain virtual because we shifted to 100% virtual. And I think a lot of our families are going to want us to stay that way and not look at it as a Band-Aid, but look at it as something that we're going to continue to offer maybe forever. And it wasn't in our wheelhouse before this.
Awesome. So I plead with you two things before I leave you. Number one, whatever you took out of this class today, this time together, in the next 24, take immediate massive action. 24 hours, take immediate and massive action. Just go do it right now. You really have nothing else to do. So don't say that. If you say that you do, you lie about other stuff too.